Our last guest today is Scampi, and we put our dogs down as the basic mix, right? And so we have a lot of terrier mixes, and usually when people see that, they just assume Pipple type dog. Well, Scampi is also a terrier mix, so you definitely want to look at their pictures and come visit them, and don't just assume that because it says terrier that they're a Pipple type dog, because there are a variety of terrier mixes out there. So this guy came to us as a stray, and he is, again, one of those dogs that's a little bit shyer, but he's been warming up pretty nicely. He too is doing well with other dogs. So even though they're shy around humans, they've been reacting favorably to all the other dogs. And sometimes if you have a dog that's a little bit shyer and you pair them with a more confident dog, sometimes they're like, oh, this dog says it's okay, it must be okay. And it can kind of help build their confidence. But as is always the case, if you have an existing dog and you're looking at making one of ours part of your family as well, you do need to make sure that you're bringing them in, doing those dog meet and greets. We're not necessarily saying that it has to be perfect from the get-go, but it has to be something that all the parties feel is workable and is going to be safe for all the animals and the humans in the household. So as you can see, Scampi is very affectionate. He's crawling into Sean's lap right now. Another thing that people are really looking for in a dog. Oh, he's going in for the kiss. He's going in for that kiss. He doesn't have any issues with food aggression. Wasn't really interested in toys. And he's another one of those dogs like Nola who can be a little bit more challenging to walk, not because he's pulling, but because he's lagging behind. So using those treats as a way to entice him to move forward, or that happy talk, is always a good thing. Because a lot of these dogs that we've had on the show today are a little bit shyer, they do have restrictions in terms of the types of children they can live with. A lot of, I think, Draco definitely had like teens only, but with Scampi here, we're looking for just no small children. And generally when we say small children, we're looking at kids that are like 6 and under.
So currently we test dogs for heartworm, but Scampi received the full SNAP panel test. So why did he receive that?
So unfortunately, Scampi was a dog that was trapped. And when he came in, you might be noticing when you're petting him, he's a little scabby. That's because he was covered in ticks. So we wanted to make sure that he didn't have any of those illnesses that come from ticks, because of how infested he was. So that just goes to speak to, when you're taking your dogs out, making sure that you are checking them for ticks, especially when they have longer hair. It might be easier to hide places, check their ears, between their toes. Some people have even told me that because their dogs are sniffing in open mouth, they were in the dog's mouth. So there's lots of places you might want to check, but also keeping them current on all of those preventatives. You want to keep them on flea and tick preventative. Heartworm preventative is really important. I keep preaching heartworm preventative even more because we have Rex in our facility and he's undergoing heartworm treatment and it's not been very fun for him. So just making sure that you're keeping him up to date on all of those things. And it's also important to do a retest in 6 months because all of those illnesses that we tested for have incubation periods. So if he was recently infected, the blood test wouldn't show those results until about 6 months later. So those are important things to note with Scampi, and our medical staff would be happy to talk to you if you had any more questions about that. But if you think he's a great dog and you like his Lady and the Tramp vibes, you want to make him part of your family, then you can go to visit fcac.as.me to start that process.